Welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Serpent, and let's get right into a full detail on what has happened so far and what can we expect from SEC versus Ripple, because it is so important to understand what is going on. And I really like this particular infographic that was made so that it can assist us on, where do we go and what happens from here. So, first thing was the first defense, which was failure to state a claim. So the compliant fails to state a claim upon which relief may be granted. Next was XRP is not a security. So from a second point of view is that Ripple did not violate Section 5 of the Securities Act because XRP is not a security or investment contract, and Ripple's distributions or sales of XRP are not investment contracts. From there, we go that there is no likelihood of future violations, which is really important. This here was in regards to, okay, so let's say even if Ripple as a company 10 years ago violated some rules, well, what are the likelihood of future violations? Well, there aren't any really, and that's a really, really important case. The lack of due process and fair notice. So, there's been a lot of talk about Ripple did not have and plaintiff failed to provide a fair notice that its conduct was in violation of law. It just came out on the 23rd of December out of nowhere, and it took everyone by surprise. That is a really important aspect. Exemption from registration. So even where the court to find that XRP constitutes a security or investment contract within Section 5 of the Securities Act, plaintiff's claim against Ripple is barred in whole or in part because of Ripple's distribution or sales of XRP were exempt from the registration requirements of the Securities Act or the regulations around it. So again, there were rules and regulations put around this that limited that, and it's really, really important to know that. So a lack of extraterritorial authority. So plaintiff lacks of extraterritorial authority over all or some of the transactions alleged in the complaint that took place. I mean, this is in regards to how the SEC have gone about getting the information they've got so far. And then, statute of limitations, plaintiff's claim and plaintiff's request of civil monetary penalties are barred in whole or part of the applicable statute of limitations. So again, we're talking here, what is the main objective that the SEC is trying to do, and what is it the outcome that they're really after? Overall, what is it that they're trying to achieve? It's not really clear. Are they trying to say that, Ripple is a security and that's it, stop on all exchanges? What exactly are they after? I mean, recently, this came out a couple of hours ago, Ripple puts SEC to shame in latest legal round. So yesterday, Ripple formally opposed the motion and seems to have made quite an impact within some attorney circles. The defendant explored those two citations, their omissions and misrepresentations. So Ripple filed its memorandum of law in opposition to the SEC's motion to strike Ripple's lack of due process and fair notice affirmative defense. So essentially, in other words, the Securities and Exchange Commission filed a motion to remove the lack of due process and fair notice defense from the lawsuit. Aimed at the heart of Ripple's defense, the documents were sent to the court in late April, and to the SEC's knowledge, no federal court has accepted a defendant's argument that the term fails to provide the constitutionally required notice, indeed of the realm of offers or sales of digital assets. So in this latest round, I mean, Ripple has been winning since December 23 when it comes to this particular case. But this article, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this article in the actual description of the video, so you can actually go through and read this really, really carefully, because it is so important that the SEC versus Ripple case settles or gets dismissed as soon as possible to ensure that Ripple doesn't miss out on the full extent of the bull run. Because it is so important for them to have legal clarity and to get a proper understanding of what is happening and what is going on. It is so crucial to the bull run of 2021 that Ripple and the SEC's case gets sorted as quick as possible. So it's really, really important. Again, from an efficiency point of view, I do want to touch up on that again. We're talking about a 57,000 times more efficient blockchain than the Bitcoin blockchain is. And I want you to keep that in mind in the coming months. Also, I like what XRP Patience has posted here, approaching escape velocity, buckle up. So he's talking about how Ripple is approaching a particular point in this particular bull run, which is going to be really important, to kick off again and to kick off the approach towards $2 and beyond. I like the Goodfellas XRP. He says, who's ready for breakout in 7 to 8 days? And maybe we might have to wait a couple more days. For me, $3.30 at the end of May is still the target. And I want to remind you of a couple of things that I've noticed. Number one, we are only in the middle of the month. So I know that you guys love in the comments to where is it? When's it coming? Why is it not coming? You said me this and you said me that. Now, you can go back and check that from May 1st, I've been saying that by the end of May, we're going to be at $3.30. That's what I've been saying and preaching this whole time. $3.30 by the end of May. And you know what? I reckon I'm going to come really close to it, and a couple of days early, in fact, because as we approach this, there's only one way that we're going to go after this, and that is straight up in probably one of the best green candles that you will see in 2021. Now, if I jump into Atani from what, like some of that other articles that we're showing there, this is sort of the kind of thing that we're looking at right now. And this is on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, it looks like, what would that be? 7, 8 days, maybe even 10 days. Like that's roughly, the sort of time length that this would be. Now, when you are drawing a chart, you draw it from the right where the thin line ends, and then you draw it like that. So that's like, for example, one potential scenario that could be happening. Now, if I take that out and we actually look at the buying and selling volume right now that is going on, you can see that there is more buying volume than there is selling volume happening right now. And we're sitting at about $1.40 USD at the time of making this. So if we looked at it like that, that's kind of like the sort of pattern that we would that we would be expecting. Now, if I take those out, and let's go maybe on the 4-hourly chart. Well, let's have a look at what's been going on here. So we saw like a really nice solid green candle there. Then we've gone retested a little bit, and now we're starting to come back up again. So there are a couple of scenarios which I'm going to go through, and you're gonna see, and we're going to play out here. But what's really interesting at the moment is that there are a couple of scenarios from the charts that really could lead us in a couple of directions over the next couple of days. And so I want to mention both of them to you. If we look at the hourly chart, we can see that, we're starting to make higher highs, but it's very early days, compared to some of the others that have already started to, some other currencies that have already started to break out. So it's really interesting, when we look at it in this particular format. Now, if we were to go down, it would probably be something like this that would be occurring, which would get us down to $1. Now, that is a scenario that we have to look at the moment, because from what I can see here, it's important to look at this and to understand what is going on. And so we have to look at this scenario. This could well be a scenario over the next couple of days. It is a scenario and a possibility that XRP could be heading down to $1. So if we look at some of the drawn up charts, what can happen? We have a resistance, and of course, we do have a resistance at the moment that we have to break that 170. And I did mention, of course, there is a possibility that we could go down to $1, but for me, I don't think we're going to be going down that path. I think we are going to be pushing up, and of course, 170 is the resistance mark. From a timeline point of view, from a explosion point of view of the bull run, for me, like I mentioned, nothing changes. I think $3.30 end of May is certainly my target, and I have not changed my mind on that at all in terms of where we're going and what that looks like and why we're going to be heading down that path. And then if we look at some of the other options as well, again, if we break, So if we break out of here, then the potential support is around that $1.10. So be on the lookout that $1.10 could be the support method before we kick off again. Again, I don't believe that we're going down there, but I always want to give you both options. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please don't wait to get in based on, that it might hit $1.10. I personally don't think that we're going down that path. I think we're going to break out of here. And once we break out of here, we're literally going to moon and go really, really high, really, really fast. And it is a game of patience. So what are the options? We've got an option, of course, like we've hit $1.20 already. We could be going again. We know we might touch 120 again. I don't think we're going to go all the way down to $1. And that would be support number one. And support number two would be 75 cents. And then from here, really the next couple of targets are, breaking 170 and then breaking the $2. Once we break 2, then heading to 3 and 330 and beyond is where it's going to be. For me personally, I think this kind of pattern is the most likely pattern that we're going to be following. We hit A, B, C, we're going to go D, E, and then break $2.50. And it's a game of patience of how quickly this occurs. So from my point and from many different angles, this is, for me, the most likely outcome. So we'll go to 160, come back down to 130, break over 160, touch 150, and then go forward into the 220 territory. And for whichever way you look at it, we are going to go parabolic very quick, and it will happen very quickly. And those that have the patience to hold out will be the ones that are the winners. So if you did learn something new today, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. As always, thank you, and I look forward to see you on the next one.